does not torture people.
What was true and what wasn't true? We'll never know the answer to that question. But remarkably, many details of the CIA's torture program are still not publicly acknowledged. They're still secret. Are still not publicly acknowledged. They're still secret.
Waterboarding has received the most media attention. It's actually quite simple. You strap a prisoner to a board. His feet and legs are elevated compared to his face. Cloth or burlap or something is put in his mouth to keep him from drowning. And while his head is immobilized, water is poured on his mouth. So of course, water is going to get through the cloth and get down your throat, and it makes you feel like you're drowning. It causes panic. You tense your muscles to the point where it becomes painful. And in the case of one prisoner, Abu Zubaydah, Zain al-Abidin Mohammed Hussein, he actually did drown. His heart stopped beating, and he had to be revived by a CIA doctor performing CPR so that he could be tortured more. Now, the easiest technique was called the attention grasp. You grab somebody by the shirt and say, "Answer my questions."
Are you drinking?
Grab somebody by the shirt and say, "Answer my questions." That's not torture. The second one was a slap on the belly called the belly slap. It makes a cracking sound. It's a little bit humiliating. It leaves a handprint. It's probably not torture. The third one was a slap across the face. That's humiliating, but again, reasonable people can agree to disagree about whether it's torture. But then they got progressively worse. The next one was called walling, where you roll a towel and put the towel around the prisoner's neck, and then you slam him repeatedly into a plywood wall. The plywood has a little bit of give, and the towel ensures that the prisoner doesn't get whiplash. But the CIA never used a towel, and the wall was made out of concrete block. And so they did such damage to prisoners that several of them have permanent traumatic brain injury and are unable to participate in their own defenses. The Justice Department never said you could smash somebody's head against a concrete wall until his brain was jelly, but that's exactly what the CIA did. The CIA never used a towel, and the wall was made out of concrete block. Damage to prisoners that several of them have permanent traumatic brain injury and are unable to participate in their own defenses. The Justice Department never said you could smash somebody's head against a concrete wall until his brain was jelly. But that's exactly what the CIA did. There were others that were even worse. It's called the cold cell, where a prisoner is stripped naked. He's chained to an eye bolt in the ceiling, so he can't get comfortable. He can't sit or kneel or lay. He's standing 24 hours a day. The cell is chilled to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then every hour, a CIA officer goes into the cell and throws a bucket of ice water on him. Now, we murdered prisoners using that technique. We murdered prisoners using that technique. And again, the Justice Department never said, feel free to just murder these people by freezing them to death, giving them hypothermia. That's exactly what the CIA did. There was another one that was actually quite controversial, and that was sleep deprivation.
In the now unclassified legal memo in which Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld signed off on counter-resistance techniques at Gitmo in interrogations, Rumsfeld responded to the sleep deprivation technique by saying, I stand at my desk for 8 to 10 hours a day. Why is standing limited for 4 hours?
But the CIA wasn't talking about keeping people awake at their stand-up desks for 24 hours. What they would do to these prisoners is, again, strip them naked, chain them to an eye bolt in the ceiling with industrial strength lights on them 24 hours a day, and death metal blasting at a volume of 11, 24 hours a day. They went crazy after a few days of that and then just began to die. 24 hours a day. They went crazy after a few days of that and then just began to die.
Publicly, the Bush administration pretended none of this was happening. They lied.
This government does not torture people.
I said to my wife, who was also a senior CIA officer, he is a bald-faced liar